built the wall. We built the pyramids. Math, science, history, unraveling the mystery that all started with a Big Bang.
At the end of the Adolescence video, I did say we'd have a palate cleanser, because I'd forgotten that Black Mirror was starting yesterday as of this video going out. I haven't had a chance to watch that through yet, don't worry. But there is a series that we'd watched in between, but that is quite heavy. So rather than break my promise, instead of a normal review or analysis, I'm going to talk about my relationship with the Big Bang Theory. My partner, big Big Bang Theory, pretty much I think for all the time I've known her. I've had friends who have really been into it, said I'd like it, but I do not like laugh tracks. If you ever see edits people do of various shows with laugh tracks where they remove them, you often find that they're often put in to make an unfunny moment seem funny. It doesn't work on me. I go, that's not funny, why are they laughing? I also read somewhere, and yes, you should always make up your own mind, but this was only part of my issue with it. But it was effectively a show about intelligent people for non-intelligent people. This is how people who aren't that clever think clever people are. Now, I do think that that's a bit harsh. And if you enjoy something, as long as it's not illegal or immoral, it's not a guilty pleasure. You should never feel bad for engaging with something that you enjoy, that brings you joy. But The Big Bang Theory just wasn't that for me, and people shouldn't judge me for not liking it back then. So I had, some of these misgivings, these prejudices, I will agree. I'd seen clips, just didn't click with me. Now, my partner had seen maybe 1 or 2 episodes of Buffy, maybe even not got through the whole of them, and just couldn't get on with it. As she is a big fan of The Big Bang Theory, I am a big fan of Buffy. I say in my Spike t-shirt that she got me for my birthday. So we made an agreement. I would watch the entire first season of The Big Bang Theory. I would not be able to go halfway through, do you know why it's not working? I would watch the entire first season. And we did that first because even though there's more episodes, they're shorter. So I think the runtime was effectively lower for the whole thing. Once I'd watched that, then she would watch the entire first season of Buffy. Again, no. Episode 6, no, I don't want to. No, you're going right through to episode 12. So we did that in that order. I reserved judgment because I didn't want to sway her to either say, if I was like, oh, I love The Big Bang Theory, and she's like, well, I suppose I should say I love Buffy now because I'd feel guilty, or feel guilty when telling me she doesn't like it, or whatever it may be. Or if I said I hated The Big Bang Theory, would she retaliate and go, well, I don't like Buffy, even though she kind of did. So I didn't want anything to sort of lean on her opinion of Buffy. So we did that, then it's going to sound really professional here, but we had a meeting and discussed it. But we did, we sat there, we said, like, did you enjoy it? What did you like? What didn't you like? And maybe sort of say, well, I understand that, but from the next season, that's not an issue or whatever. I was like, Buffy, even though I know first season production values are pretty poor, it does get better. So we both said we will carry on with each other's shows, and we watched them through to completion. And I now understand why she was saying you will enjoy it, because she's one of those people who character is, if not the most important, certainly in the top 2, 3, but if she can't get on with the characters, she will often drop a show. We didn't watch Angel in full. She couldn't get on with it. I gave her like the Cliff Notes bit. I kind of found episodes that were important if they tied into Buffy, particularly season 7, things like that. So she knew the vague beats. And when it was more serialised, she enjoyed it more. And it was when it was like kind of more disparate that it was harder to get on with. Although I'd say that the last season of Angel is probably the most serialised, but she couldn't get on with it then. I don't know. It's, it's not the problem. She enjoyed Buffy. I'm happy with that. But I really did enjoy The Big Bang Theory a lot more than I thought I would. We have a neurotic character whose mother, a psychologist of all things, who should know better, has kind of screwed him over and created all these neuroses. But he finds love. He finds marriage in that. With, someone who's, I don't want to use the term, but it is accurate, a failed actress. But I will counter that by a successful pharmaceutical rep. She used the performing skills from acting to sell, because it is actually quite transferable, that skill, I can attest. So, success there. We have a man who could not speak to attractive women unless he had a drink, get through that, have relationships, and eventually go on a date with Buffy. Nice crossover. I mean, it's not Buffy, it's Sarah Michelle Gellar. But quick sidebar on that. Some of the cameos are quite uncomfortable because I'm sure, people like Will Wheaton, Bill Shatner, he tends to go by, doesn't he? But yeah, Will Wheaton, Bill Shatner, all these people, a lot of the ones who are actors may have worked with some of the other actors in other projects, and that just hurts my head, so I don't try and think about it too much. But still, we have this guy go through all of that. We have a really unlovable guy who lives with his mom still, like stereotype and all that. But he goes through loss, he has a relationship, he has kids, and the relationship is someone who understands who he is, knows exactly who he is. It's like, I'm not under any illusion, but I love him for him, and I will stand by him. And we have a person who, there's some moments that are possibly problematic, but was not written, apparently, officially, as autistic in any way, shape or form, but was portrayed as such by the actor. We have him struggle when things don't follow his routine. He has him struggle when things change because a place closes down and they can't go there anymore. Has meltdowns, can't control emotions, feels unsure of what's going on in the world because it doesn't make sense to him, and tries to rationalize it through science. Find someone who, again, understands who he is and is able to stand there and go, I get it, it's hard for you, but I'm here to help you through it. And they get into a relationship, they marry each other, and they work together and get a Nobel Prize, which leads to that whole Buffy crossover thing. This is exactly why I was told that I would enjoy it. These characters, I'm not one of those people like, like family to me, and I'm not deluded. But they matter to me. There was a time in my life that they were something I saw, quite often, multiple times a week, and I enjoyed their lives, their stories evolve. And it reminded me of my own life in a lot of ways. Like Sheldon, as he's portrayed by Jim Parsons, I will take the autistic side. I have struggled with change, I've struggled with adaptation, which I guess is another way of saying change, but you know what I mean. I've struggled with my emotions, I've struggled with so much. I've struggled with loss, I've struggled with love, I've struggled with a lot of things in life. And ironically, I had an Amy, literally, who went, I get it. These things are hard for you. How can I help you? And like Sheldon and Amy, we have clashes. There are moments where she's like, you're overthinking this, you're over solving a problem. Just stop overstressing it, as though I could just turn it off. And she has the difficulties as well, and I help her through those. Obviously, I'm not going to disclose those because it's not my place to. But we are there for each other. We understand that neither of us are perfect, and that's an unattainable goal. As Sheldon found his Amy, so did I. And we have this shared connection now. I get it. I understand why the Big Bang Theory means much to a lot of people, but particularly to my partner, and now to me. I can't wait to finish Young Sheldon. Maybe I'll do a follow-up video of my thoughts of that, because at least that doesn't have a laugh track. That's one thing going for it, and it's got Annie Potts. But yeah, thank you for letting me, I guess, get a little sentimental, get a little personal. But I hope it has been a palate cleanser after last week. And yeah, next week, for however many weeks, I haven't looked at how many episodes, but yeah, the next few weeks are going to be Black Mirror. So we'll see how stressed I am in a few weeks' time, because I've still got assignments as well. But I hope you join me for that, and what's coming in a few months as well. I've got so many projects to keep me busy over the summer, as well as planning my final year project. Let's not stress. This is a fun moment. So thank you very much for this. And yeah, until next time, as always, take care.